Hello, how are you? And welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Listen, it's been nothing but giving the Destiny 2 team their flowers in the last few weeks, delivering us a terrific campaign with enjoyable missions and mechanics, a chunky post-campaign activity set and rewards, and one of Destiny 2's best activities in dual Destiny to get the new exotic class items. Prismatic has been excellent, the raid is fantastic, but while the final shape has been a highlight of everything that we absolutely love about Destiny 2, the beginning of its fresh chapter with episodes is everything that we've grown tired of. Today, we're going to be talking about the extreme disappointment that myself and many players are feeling when it comes to the first act of the new episode Echoes. But before I get stuck in, give you some thoughts. As always, if you enjoyed the vid or hearing my thoughts on things, dropping a like is the best way to help me out. And if you're after more Destiny content or thoughts, consider subscribing. Right, let's dive in. Look, my channel, I'm a big advocate for really putting time into what I really love and I'm passionate about. I prefer talking about what I enjoy rather than what I don't. That doesn't mean though that I can't be critical when things that I have been loving take a pretty sour turn. And that's what's happened here. Destiny 2 episode Echoes is like the final shape hitting a new bench press personal record in the gym, and then episode Echoes is like tearing your chest pec immediately after. All that excitement just vanquished. Here's the thing, I don't expect the final shape's production or quality throughout an entire episode's lifespan. That's unrealistic. But what bugs me here is that the rollout of an episode is actually worse so far, and that all the major complaints that people had about seasons have actually been dialed up to 11. From what was communicated and we as the players believed, seasons were changed to episodes to give us more narrative potential, address the seasonal issues that had cropped up, and allow for more experimentation. It's true that we can't just write the entire episodic model off right now or judge it in its entirety until the first episode is over. If anything, I'd love to be wrong about this. And we get to the end of the first episode and I think, yes, this change from seasons was worth it. But right now, it is that Scooby-Doo meme of who's really under the mask and that episodes is just an imposter of the time-gated seasons. Let's talk about why I feel that way. Starting with the week-to-week story. Apart from an extra cutscene at the start of Act 1, you put two players in different rooms and they both had to guess if they were playing a season or an episode. I betcha that you could not tell the difference. It's still the same, okay, talk to seasonal vendor, run activity or collect a resource on a planet, return to seasonal vendor, dialogue, either new mission or run activity again, return last time to vendor, alright, catch you next week. That's part one of the problem. Part two is that it's still that same week to week time gating. Maybe I had the wrong expectations, but to me, I felt like acts were going to be, okay, one chunk of storytelling in Act 1 at the beginning, then Act 2, another chunk of storytelling, and then another chunk at the beginning of Act 3. Not 3 weeks in Act 1, and presumably 3 weeks in Act 2, and 3 in Act 3. Season storytelling were done quicker than this. Again, I could be jumping the gun, we log in next week and there's something, but as far as main narrative goes, we know that it's not going to continue until we reach Act 2 now. It's a shame because it's clear the narrative team have some interesting ideas for this episode. The controller of the Vex, this false identity that Saint 14 is feeling, the toll that the fight against the Witness has had. We're seeing on screen the dynamic between Saint and Osiris that we haven't really had for a while. I'm excited for where this can go, but at minimum, it's 3 weeks until we are introduced to the villain, and we're 12 to 13 weeks away from some kind of conclusion. I don't want the entire thing now, but to me, it would have felt better if the story was dropped in 3 big segments so that it felt substantial rather than the drip feeds that we're getting. So, this is worse. It's just remarkable because this has been a complaint for so long, and like I say, after the final shape, a perfect jumping off point, this is exactly the way to push people away, despite how exciting the future could be jetting off into a new system and learning more about the Winnower. So yeah, one part, the narrative is just worse, but then it's still that same time-gated unlocks too. Week 1, we unlock the ability to focus weapons and armor. Week 2, we unlock the ability for deep sight. Week 3, I have no idea because it's currently bugged and I can't unlock it anyway. Presumably, more buffs and unlocks will come in Act 2, again unlocking weekly. Like, this time gating nonsense, I understand a little bit from Bungie's perspective. They want to keep players engaged and carry on playing, but I've got a reason to play anyway. What difference is it if I spread my playtime from going hard in the first 2 weeks or casually playing across 6? You've produced a sensational raid with plenty of content in the final shape to keep people playing too. It just doesn't add up or make much sense to me. Returning players who have gone, wow, the final shape's incredible, we're so back, to, okay, this is exactly how I remember it to be. Like, we know more weapons and activities will come, but seasons did the exact same, and now we're getting 3 episodes instead of 4 seasons. Is that so the expansions are of the quality of the final shape going forward? Is it that we're winding down and we're going towards Destiny 3? I don't know. The first seasons post-expansion have always just been notoriously fine, always one of the weakest in the year. But the fact that they haven't addressed the main pain points of what seasons were, if anything, doubled down on them, is confusing. I love the experimentation of the seasonal activities recently, giving buffs to enhance our builds rather than restrict them, and then providing 2 different experiences in each activity. It's great. Enigma Protocol is another fantastic activity. Another topic though, and this isn't particularly episodic related, but what are we doing, man? Dual Destiny, an absolute pleasure to play. From mechanics to enemies to the environmental design. Of course, it had the double loot glitch. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have every role yet that I want, but there is 64 possible combinations per class. Getting 2 drops always felt right even if it was a bug. So now that it's been patched, it feels horrid, I can't lie. And I'm not sure I'm going to carry on running it, to be honest with you. I just hope that that means that they have buff drops running around the Pale Heart, because that's all I'm going to do. Like, I'm not the guy to say, oh, Bungie hates fun. They hated fun, they won't create prismatic. But this didn't need patching. You're talking at minimum, for most players, 25 minutes to run this right. And now you will get 1 combo out of a possible 64 with the potential of getting duplicate rolls that you've already got. It's just this thing where, like, of course it's business, but, and of course this wasn't intended, but it's like they stumbled into a good decision and then made a bad one. Frankly, I feel it's all just a massive shame, to be honest with you. I don't like feeling pessimistic about things. It's not my character. I felt so good after the final shape, and I still do. I've still got the raid to mop up, still loving being in the Pale Heart, still spending my lifetime waiting for that buried bloodline to drop. There's a ton of stuff for me to do. But as far as introductions go, this has been extremely poor. At a time where I was like, wow, this is the best that Destiny's ever been. I felt reinvigorated, and I still do to a degree. It's just been this huge bring me back down to earth moment that we're still seeing the same mistakes being made time and time again. I always take breaks from Destiny anyway because it's healthy when playing a live service game, and there's so many amazing games out there. But it's that feeling of, well, I'm already immensely powerful. I feel like I've got an arsenal that can deal with any situation or activity that I need. Do I even need to farm these red borders now? Or do I even need to come back to Act 2? Or can I just wait for Act 3, do the story in one go, have all the best upgrades to do once again, speed through it all, and do it in half the playtime? It's those same issues that we're running into time and time again. For what was intended to be a fresh start, renewed optimism, and something that felt a little more natural, Destiny's episodes have got off to the worst start possible. We can't wrap a verdict around this just yet. Bungie time and time again proved they've still got it, and they can pull surprises out the bag. But if they're creating the same struggles and problems, it doesn't matter if I'm really interested in what happened to Saint 14. It doesn't matter if this threat that's controlling the Vex has the potential to be a really incredible and interesting villain and make me care about a Vex storyline more than I ever have in the past. It doesn't matter if the Enigma Protocol, when done with a competent fire team, is a ton of fun. Right now, seasons walked so that episodes could also walk, just slower. Well, that's my thoughts on episodes so far in Destiny 2. Just me, my opinion. Now, I want to hear yours. Are you as disappointed as I'm feeling? What's it done for your optimism post final shape? Let's have a civil conversation about it in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed hearing me talk about the things that I'm passionate about, like Destiny 2, dropping a like button really does help me out. And if you're after more of this kind of content, usually on the more positive side of things, or some cool, fun little builds, consider subscribing. I've got you covered. If you want to get at me on any of my socials, they're all linked in the description down below. Other than that, hope you have a terrific day, look after yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.